it's encouraging to see that at this year's CinemaCon, studios came out swinging. They came out swinging in favor of the theatrical release. This is the last picture with Rahim Khan, and I'm doing a recap of the 2026 CinemaCon, which recently wrapped up this past week. Ever since COVID, so like the past 6 years, studios have had to revise their models, have had to revise how they get whatever they produce to you, the end viewer. So, of course, during COVID, because of circumstances, cinemas were closed. There was no means of actually getting, the films. You couldn't actually go to a picture house or a cinema to watch the movies. So naturally, they resorted to getting down and dirty with Netflix, stooping to its level. Because again, traditional studios and the model have always looked down upon Netflix. And so, all and sundry, Disney, HBO, all of these ones, they launched their own platforms. It may have worked at least for the first couple of years, 2020, 2021, even well into 2022. But thankfully, getting over COVID and returning to the cinema, that model doesn't stand the scrutiny anymore. And I would say now more so than ever, because again, there have been interruptions, there was that writer's strike, then the Screen Actors Guild. So many things have rocked the boat of late. But I think now having, or at least getting Hollywood back to form, it's encouraging. It's encouraging because again, sort of as viewers, as, people who like watching movies, going to the cinema, and at least seeing stacked slate, back-to-back releases. If for those of you who are familiar with this channel, you know that when I did like my top 10 for 2024, I barely could cobble together like a list of 10. I only had like 6 good movies that year. So it's really encouraging to see this. And there were some major announcements, and we might as well kick off with them. Of course, the one that I guess stands out the most, considering that this is make or break for Marvel, is Avengers Doomsday. Now, we are already very well aware that they're hedging their bets on this one. So they called back the likes of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, who departed from the franchise almost like 7-8 years ago, but they're sort of being brought back into the fold. And even returning are, of course, the Russo brothers. So Marvel has a lot riding on this. And we've all been waiting for a trailer. And for those who were fortunate enough to be at CinemaCon, they got to see the Avengers Doomsday trailer, which is apparently, like I'm recording this today as of the 18th of April, apparently it's releasing tomorrow on the 19th. So that was a big one. For those of you who can't wait until tomorrow, you can actually go online and find descriptions of the trailer itself. There's a breakdown. I, unfortunately, because again, for those of you who are familiar with this channel, I do not watch trailers. And unfortunately, just reading up on CinemaCon itself, I perused, I found like 2 lines. I read 2 lines about the trailer itself. Whatever. Of course, it does reveal Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr. playing the Latvian dictator, and taking to the stage, of course, was RDJ himself, along with Chris Evans. So, yeah, that, of course, is the trailer part, but more sort of like, Marvel news is that, first of all, Avengers Doomsday, which is still, 9 months out, we're still waiting, December 18th is the day. So that's in post-production. Avengers Secret Wars is now in pre-production. So they're already going full steam with this. I mean, with its sequel. And oh wait, okay. I may be wrong about what's it called, the release of that, of the release of the trailer, because according to No Context Culture, the trailer is not yet online. Marvel is holding it until The Mandalorian and Grogu hits theaters in late May. Okay, so we may get it in late May. Speaking of The Mandalorian and Grogu, the opening sequence was screened in full. Um, and you know, yeah, I think I spoke about this when I was talking about Kathleen Kennedy exiting stage left from the franchise. I'm not too like enthused about the Mandalorian Grogu. Like, I'll go and watch it in the cinema, but like, sort of, I'm kind of nonplussed by it. There's nothing about this movie that has me raving, that has me kind of like, sort of, desperate to watch it, like I would say, for example, Doomsday or Dune 3. So, okay, fine. Also mentioned Star Wars Starfighter, the one that's being directed by Sean Levi, and starring Ryan Gosling. Uh, film? No, wasn't Sean directing this movie? I need to check this up. I'll check this up in a second. Toy Story 5 horror parody and Woody's Return. But that's of course Toy Story 5, which is coming out later this year. Disney has also announced a new, what's it called, animated original, and that is Hexed. It stars Haley Stanfield and Rashida Jones. That's coming out later this year, November 2025. Live action Moana footage and Dwayne Johnson's emotional speech. Nobody gives a shit. The Devil Wears Prada 2 clip and release date. Again, I'm sure there are diehard fans of The Devil Wears Prada 1. I firmly skipped that movie all those years ago, and this is not a movie that I'm going to watch, the sequel, even though I love Meryl Streep, but nah, not for me. Okay, the Disney highlights. Ice Age Boiling Point. Okay, so they're continuing with the franchise. I couldn't care less. I do care about The Dog Stars. Now, this is a book written by Peter Heller. It's a dystopian fiction. It's about, sort of post-apocalyptic fiction, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Josh Brolin, Jacob Elordi, Margot Qualley. Apparently, Benedict Wong and Guy Pearce are in it too. And this movie's coming out later this year, August, in fact. It's an enough book. And they showed some footage from this. Then Whalefall. This is an interesting one. I spoke about this movie when we were doing the most anticipated movies of 2026. And it's a really interesting premise, very biblical. A scuba diver gets swallowed by a whale while being attacked by a giant octopus. Extremely claustrophobic. Yeah, you said that. Okay, this is an interesting one. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I did not know that it was coming out, but yeah, cool. Wild Horse 9, November 6, 2026. John Malkovich and Sam Rockwell play destabilizers on Easter Island. Malkovich's character says, "We came down here to destabilize your democracy, and it's going great." So, I don't know, like Thank You for Smoking and Lord of War and all of those mixed up. Apparently, Lord of War is getting Lords of War, a sequel. I didn't see that one coming. Okay, what the fuck? Disney Infinite Vision, a new premium large format certification debuting with the September 25th re-release of Avengers Endgame, whatever, who gives a shit? Okay, upcoming Marvel and Disney TV. Well, we already know about most of these, except for, I think, a tentative release date for X-Men 97 Season 2, which is summer 2026, and Season 3 is green-lit, so that's fantastic. That's great news. May 12th, we're getting The Punisher One Last Kill, an hour-long special written by John Bernthal. Okay, I thought this was going to... It's an hour-long special. Interesting. Okay. They put out an extended clip for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Good for them. Moving on. Wait, I think there is... Yeah, They shared extended footage for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and also it's coming to cinemas almost 4 years after the fact, 3 years, June 18th, 2027. Really looking forward to this one. Jumanji open world footage. Nobody cares. Resident Evil. Okay. Now, we grew up playing the games. We grew up watching those itty Paul W.S. Anderson, what's it called, movies with Mila Jovovich. But we have Zach Kreger of Weapons fame. Now, he has apparently been picked to revive the franchise. And he appeared on stage saying he's put an embarrassing number of hours into the game. The picture of a man whose car breaks down, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Resident Evil hits theaters September 18th, 2026. Ooh, that's, I'm looking forward to that. More stuff from Sony. Insidious Out of the Further. I'm sorry. Know nothing about this franchise. The Social Reckoning. Nice. So now this is a sequel to The Social Network, directed, of course, by David Fincher with the script by Aaron Sorkin, and was like a seminal movie. And now we get a sequel. This time it is Aaron Sorkin who is writing and directing. And we have Jeremy Strong as Mark Zuckerberg, Jeremy Allen White as Jeff Horowitz. He's a journalist, and Mikey Madison as Frances Haugen. He is what's it called? She's a Facebook. She worked for Facebook, and this movie specifically focuses on the 2021 Facebook leaks. This, I think, Cambridge Analytica and all of that stuff. So yeah, looking forward to this. Filming has wrapped on The Legend of Zelda, the live action adaptation, and that movie is coming out May 7th, 2027. Helldivers. I do not know what this movie is. Justin Lin directing, Jason Momoa starring. No idea. Clara and the Sun by Taika Waititi, October 23rd, 2026. Taika's film starring Jenna Ortega and Amy Adams. No idea. The Nightingale, February 12th, 2027. Dakota and Elle Fanning as sisters in occupied France during World War II. All right. This one was really interesting. Okay, this is Grand Gear, February 18th, 2028. Takashi Yamazaki, the director of Godzilla Minus One. And of course, we're getting now a sequel to that. And there's been some great posters in which Gojira himself pays New York a visit. Now, Grand Gear is about a kaiju v giant robot film produced by J.J. Abrams. Now, for those of you still drunk on the memory of Pacific Rim, we will not talk about its sequel. This is a movie that I think we all need. Okay, cool. Buds, December 22nd, 2027. Animated film about plants breaking their rule of not talking to humans. Okay, whatever. Warner Brothers pictures. Okay. Warner Brothers, of course, announced casting, and I already spoke about that. We have a new Aragorn, so we can skip that. There was some new footage revealed for Dune Part 3. I read about this, but apparently they described it as Saving Private Ryan on Arrakis. So if they mean the opening sequence of Saving Private Ryan storming the beaches of Normandy, come on, man. Dune Day. Doomsday. Yeah. Okay. Then Warner Brothers also released a clip for Mortal Kombat. This is Johnny Cage, Carl Urban, great. Only wish he was a little younger. Versus Baraka. Okay. Cool. Supergirl footage and cast appearance. Jason Momoa and Millie Alcock were both there. I couldn't care less about this movie. No face footage. Okay, so if you saw how Alan Tudyk essayed Clayface in what's it called? Harley, Poison Ivy and Harvey, the cartoon. It was cool how he plays him as like this sort of failed thespian. But apparently this movie is meant to be sort of Peter Safran calls it a riveting horror thriller So I get that they're maybe continuing with what they did with, like, with the Joker movies, where they're focusing on a Batman villain and excluding, of course, the Bat, and just exploring that character and seeing where it might go. Okay, but it's releasing this year, October 23rd. Okay, Digger. Now, Digger had me really interested because, of course, this is the man himself, Tom Cruise, pairing with Alejandro Inarritu. And I didn't know what to expect from this movie because, you know, Mr. Hollywood himself hasn't caught a break since like Top Gun or like Mission Impossible. It's just been one blockbuster after another. This movie is interesting because we finally get what's it called? A premise for this movie. Tom Cruise, looking older and heavy set with a southern accent, holds a dying cat as burning down the house place. He holds his cat. He's told his cat has 2 weeks and 5 minutes to live, whatever. So apparently he plays an aging oil man who has destroyed the earth thanks to all of his prospecting and now has to save it. So I'm glad, and I've spoken about this many times before, I'm really, really glad that Cruise is exploring, the actor and not the superstar, not Hollywood not Mr. Hollywood himself. He's exploring the actor, and we all know Cruise is a fine actor. So I'm glad he gets to do this and word this in the hands. We already saw him do this, remember? I mean, sort of in Tropic Thunder. So I think he's been rearing to return to a role like this. So yeah, and of course he was there in the at CinemaCon. The movie releases October 2nd, 2026. Evil Dead burn footage. You know what? I must admit, I haven't. I saw Evil Dead as a child, and I do not remember them for the life of me, so I can't say much. But what's interesting, and I think this ties back to what I said initially about how studios are coming out big this year. Brothers, the 2027 Warner Bros. has, and this may be because of, that cash infusion thanks to the Paramount purchase. Whether or not that still goes through, we have yet to see. But apparently for 2027, they have 18 movies. And these aren't some of them are like minor movies, but like they're still movies. Most of them are tentpoles, but 18 movies in a year means you're releasing about 1.5 or 2 every month. That's considerable. So for 2027, you've got Animal Friends. I have no idea what the hell that is. Remain, which is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Then Panic Carefully, no idea what that is. Godzilla vs. Kong Supernova, big one. An untitled Fast and the Furious movie, God. Bad Fairies, no idea. Man of Tomorrow, Superman movie. Filming begins next week. A Minecraft sequel. Shiver, Tim Miller's shark movie starring Keanu Reeves. Okay. The Conjuring First Communion. The Batman Part 2. Margie Claus starring Melissa McCarthy. Gremlins. Then there's this interesting one. An Ocean's prequel movie set in the 60s, which is interesting because, of course, that's where we got the first Ocean's one from, in which Margot Robbie stars as Danny Ocean. What's it called? George Clooney's mother. And apparently, I think Chris Pine is in this as well, maybe as his father. Okay. A Nancy Meyers movie. Okay. Tiamo, first film under new Warner Brothers Clockwork label. No idea what that is. Oh, The Places You'll Go. Don't know that. Dynamic Duo, Hello Kitty, The Lunar Chronicles, Final Destination 7, Revenge of La Lorna, Evil Dead Rock. Sam Raimi promises the most terrifying experience. A Baz Luhrmann film. Gladys, The Flood, and interestingly enough, a Game of Thrones movie. Game of Thrones, Aegon's Conquest. This is, of course, about how the Targaryens took Westeros. Interesting. Universal. Okay. Untitled Snoop Dogg biopic. He's not dead yet, man. Whatever. I'm not interested. Nolan took the stage. Of course, he's promoting the Odyssey, which is coming out in July. Looking forward to that. Minions and Monsters footage. Don't care. Violent Night 2 trailer. I enjoyed the first Violent Night. Okay, cool. Spocker in Law trailer. Nah, couldn't care less. Disclosure Day. Now we know that this is Steven Spielberg returning to a genre that kind of made him. That is, of course, Aliens. And we got an extended trailer and a proclamation, if you will, from Spielberg, who said, all you need to get from the beginning to the end is a seatbelt, and the movie is going to be an experience. Who do we have in this? Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, and Holman Domingo, and a couple of others. So yeah, okay. Sense and Sensibility, come on, man. Leave the Bronte sisters alone, man. This has been done to death. Werwulf, this is a Robert Eggers movie. Continuing, I mean, he did The Witch. Then, what's it called? He's done The Vampire. Now he's returning to Werewolf. Now he's Werewolf. It's all like your classic horror staples. And it stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, Larry Rose Depp, and Willem Dafoe. Okay, Paramount. Of course, we were expecting this. I think I think this happened maybe last year or a year. I'm not sure exactly when, but they had announced that they were going to go ahead with a Top Gun 3, and now it's confirmed. Yeah, no word yet on other cast returns, but Miles Teller and Glenn Powell have previously expressed interest. Okay. Paramount Warner Brothers merger. Skydance CEO David Ellison appeared on the stage, piece of shit, acknowledging the pending acquisition of Warner Brothers. The goal, once combined, release a minimum of 30 new films per year across both studios. My God. Paramount is committed to a 45-day minimal theatrical window, with initial VOD release after 90 days. Okay. And this is why, and I think I will do a video on this. This is exactly why you have so many in the industry. I think almost like 2,000 people signed the petition. Block this. Because can you imagine this juggernaut that Paramount is becoming? I mean, they will have a stranglehold on the industry. 30 movies a year, right? Number one. But then they get to call the shots. They can, fire directors for whatever whim, like, Zionist whim they may have. They'll be calling the shots. And this is too much power. Too much power. The Street Fighter cast assembles. You know what? I don't care much about this movie because, I don't know, I'm a little on the fence about casting, but let's see how it goes. Okay. This is a tough one. It was announced that there will be a final Jackass movie. Johnny Knoxville has said, and they, released a trailer for Jackass Best and Last. Man, growing up on this on this show, I don't know if I'm ready to bid it farewell. Scary Movie 6 spoofs modern horror. Nobody cares. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 first look. Okay, cool. Other Paramount highlights. Okay, we were waiting for this. I was waiting for this one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2. So, fantastic first movie. And then, of course, we got the Nickelodeon series as well. This, they're working on it. Seth Rogen and filmmakers confirmed they're working on it. Cool. Okay. Quiet Place Part 3. John Krasinski appeared briefly saying he was on his way to scout locations for something incredible. Quiet Place Part 2 was pretty shit. Like, it wasn't good, even though it had Cillian Murphy. Quiet Place Origin? No, the Day 1 or whatever it was okay. Nothing compared to the first Quiet Place. So, okay, here's another one, which I think is appropriate considering the times we live in. Call of Duty, June 30th, 2028. Peter Berg, who I don't like this man's politics, and Taylor Sheridan are working on it. A teaser used game footage set to 7 Nation Army. Let's see which way this goes. Maybe, the whole story is about how they sent in, U.S. troops to recover Iran's uranium stockpile. Nah, they didn't do that. Billie Eilish hit me hard and soft. I don't give a shit. Children of Blood and Bone director Gina Prince Blythewood and cast appeared. Footage showed Viola Davis's Mama Agba snacking tax collectors and a magician summoning a tree fighter. I do not know what this is. Mr. Irrelevant, the John Tuggle story. David Corn Sweat stars a tear-jerking sports movie about the player picked last in the 1983 draft. So Rudy. The Heart of the Beast. David Ayers survival drama starring Brad Pitt as an ex-special forces operative bonded with his dog. Their plane crashes in the wilderness. Cool. Okay. Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol. Guy West directing. Johnny Depp starring as a creepy, cackling Scrooge. Ian McKellen plays Jacob Marley. Okay. This is, I think, Johnny Depp's redemption story. Okay. Amazon. A 99-year-old Mel Brooks in a video recorded, like in a video, announced that they're making a new Spaceballs. Why? It's coming out in 2027, and apparently there was footage for it. Extended footage for revealed for Masters of the Universe. Okay, that's coming out this year. Highlander. I don't think it's being shot right now as we speak. Henry Cavill, Batista, they're in it. So yeah, let's see what happens with this. I did not know that they were even remaking this because they've already remade it with Pierce Brosnan. So this will be the second time. The Thomas Crown Affair, starring Michael B. Jordan. And Jordan revealed he's been dreaming of making this film since he saw the Pierce Brosnan version at age 12. Okay. Beekeeper 2. I spoke about this movie when I reviewed, what's it called? Shelter. Thank God they're making a Beekeeper 2 because I was interested to see where Jason Statham goes with this. Statham's Adam Clay takes out soldiers, kills a guy with a flamethrower and says, "Don't be so hot-headed." I play Rocky footage. Oh, okay, there's a Steven Stallone. Steven Stallone? What the fuck am I saying? Sylvester Stallone biopic. Anthony Ippolito. I have no idea who this is, but I didn't know they were making this. Okay, other Amazon MGM highlights. The Sheep Detectives. I ain't watching this movie. It's coming out this year. How to Rob a Bank. Whatever. Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother. Mahershala Ali stars as a loving dad who is also a hitman. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's a recap of everything. So yeah, no major surprises in this. I think besides like a handful of movies which I just mentioned, I think that we all knew what to expect for the rest of 2026. But it's interesting to see how 2027 is turning out to be a very, very strong year. So all in all, very encouraging news. And yeah, I guess we can touch upon this again. I think closer. I mean, sort of, by the 6-month mark of 2026, and see what more we have in store. Until then, thank you.